What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Oh, wow. The devil at the foundation of the reading, Capricorn energy. So, right before I hit record, I was reading some of the downloads that I had collected. And the first one that I actually wrote down on my list of downloads was in regards to something very big coming towards a lot of you. But the demons are out in full mass exposing themselves. And what do we get? The devil in reverse. So there's an energy here where I feel there's a lot of movement again, right? Something big coming. A lot of you are on the verge of making decisions in your life that are really going to set you out on a new path, open the doors to new opportunities. These are the kinds of decisions we make that have the potential to change the trajectory of our lives. And this is what I'm feeling right now. But because of this, there's also this kind of exposure taking place. Could just be things having to do with individuals you have around you or individuals that you may have once looked to for advice or support or as a kind of guiding light. It's almost like we're starting to see through another layer of the veil. I don't think I've ever said that before, but it makes sense. You know, we quite often hear about the veil has been parted, the veil has been lifted, you know, these sorts of things. But there's seemingly always other layers, even behind that layer or that veil that has been parted, right? As we continue down the path of our life, we continue to pull back more layers that sometimes we didn't even know were there. That's just life. And that's pretty much what the awakening process or the process of ascending is all about. Just when you think more truth or more clarity couldn't come to you, boom, something else happens. But I feel for a lot of you right now, something has taken place that has really, it's like it's shell-shocked you, or this may be coming up. It doesn't feel like anything you can't handle, but it's almost like finding truth out about somebody that you never expected to be exposed to you, or it's like finding out somebody considers you an enemy when you never even thought that you were that person's enemy. Something like this is taking place right now. And the devil in reverse, well, it's an energy of breaking free. It's like you've hit another level in the game, and it's like Source, the divine, God, is wanting you to look back on your path and give yourself the credit for how far you've come and stop giving it to others. Wow. I didn't even really have time to think about that before it came out of my mouth, but it makes perfect sense. You know, I think a lot of you have given other individuals credit for what you've managed to accomplish in your life, when now is the time for you to truly realize that you did it all on your own. The people, the places, the situations, the events that unfold in our life, they're just really things that the divine uses to get us on our path, right? They're kind of like little benchmarks. So with that said, as you look back over the path that you have just navigated down, you are starting to see kind of truths be exposed to you about some of those benchmarks. But in saying all this, and to really simplify everything that I'm speaking about here, a lot of this exposure can mess with your wiring. It can mess with your mentals, but you're really being called to stay focused. A lot of these obstacles or different ways of thinking are being presented to you right now because there's some sort of valuable lesson that you need to extract from it all to help you grow, because it's these lessons that are going to serve you where you are about to transition onto. And there's some numbers that I've also been seeing as well. Some of you may be seeing these numbers or quite possibly some other number sequences. Pay attention to all of this. But the numbers I have been seeing quite a lot are different combinations of 2, 7, and 4, 2, 4, 7. And this really speaks about what I mentioned in regards to staying focused regardless of what obstacles may be coming onto your path right now. What do we have at the sacral, please? Unbelievable. If there was going to be a card to follow what I just said about staying focused regardless of what obstacles may come onto your path right now, the Seven of Wands, I mean, I would say that this is it. okay? As you can see, here you are, and there's all this energy coming towards you, trying to stop you from breaking through to the other side. Leo energy with the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is an energy that wants to make you feel very overwhelmed, so you just kind of give up. It's an energy that wants you to doubt yourself. It's an energy that wants you to think that you're disadvantaged, that you couldn't possibly pull off what you're actually about to pull off. You see, I feel a lot of you have dealt with people that have wanted to keep you small, but they have masqueraded as individuals that actually support you, right? But it's like you started to get too big and all of a sudden they feel threatened by you. I had some similar messages, I think, come through in the Leo or Libra reading. It's definitely in the collective energy right now, right? People that are seeing how much growth you have all put into yourselves and feeling highly threatened by this. And rather than supporting you and congratulating you or quite possibly trying to learn something from you, they would rather try and cut you back down to size. And this is really what the Seven of Wands represents. You have taken a stand. It's like you're in full control now of the path ahead. And I feel that a lot of you are just kind of navigating yourself through some rough waters. It's almost like turbulence right now. And it can feel very uneasy. It's an energy that feels uncertain, you know? There's an energy here that's being projected towards you that so badly wants you to think that you are on the wrong path. I'm picking up heavy gaslighting as well. It's like people that can very clearly see that you are right where you need to be. You're walking your destined path, or you're preparing to. You're just working towards that place of alignment. But it's like there's this opposing energy that is trying to tell you that, no, you're wrong. You're not perceiving things right. It's basically an energy that wants to tell you that the sky is a different color than it actually is. And this is a weapon that these narcissists use, right? Once you've escaped their grasp, so to speak, they begin to go for your mentals, right? Your mental well-being. They try to tell you that the reality that you are living in isn't actually real, or there's something wrong with the way you are computing your reality, right? It's an energy that basically wants to make you feel like you're going crazy or drive you insane. And this can really speak about the times we live in right now. It doesn't even have to be in your own individual lives. This is something that we can see the world over. I mean, how many of you say to yourself, but probably multiple times a week, is this even real? Is this reality? It's like the whole world has gone crazy, right? It's because there has been a kind of great divide, spiritually speaking, on this planet. We're really starting to see who they are and understanding who we are. And that right there says it all. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Oh my God. The great divide. We see who they are and we understand who we are. The moon at the solar plexus. The truth being exposed to us. Again, this card literally just followed what I said. The Seven of Wands and the moon have both fallen out right after I basically spoke them into existence. Because as we can see here very clearly, there's a mass illumination taking place right now. Again, it's happening for all of you individually, and it's happening collective-wide. So it's events like this, situations like this, that unfold in your life to really show you just how energy works, right? It allows you to understand how one reading like this can resonate with so many people because there's waves of us going through similar, if not the same kinds of energy, even though the details, right, the events that you're experiencing in your waking life may be different. If you looked at it on the spiritual plane, right? If you looked at it in terms of energy, it's the same. We just perceive that energy and manifest a different experience around it. Wow, amazing. I've never actually put that like that before, but it makes perfect sense. It's like each one of us looking at a ball of energy and putting our own story behind that ball of energy. But the ball of energy has the same trajectory. It has the same effect in our lives. We just communicate with it in a different way. And this is why tarot, these energy readings, are so effective. I can't speak for other tarot readers, but this is really how I read energy. I read waves of energy that we have available to us. And then when you start to think about the astrology and the way the planets move, then you can really start to get a forecast of what energies may be moving around at any given moment. That's why they say, when there's Mercury retrograde, you don't want to do certain things, or certain people come back, right? It's just all a forecast of energy. So in saying that, if any of you are feeling confused right now, if any of you are feeling uncertain, or I just heard even scared, right? All answers can be found by simply going within. Just sit in silence for a few minutes. Close your eyes and try and clear your mind. Release your fears and worries. And then see how you feel a few hours later, even the next day. See what answers begin to come to you. We're so bombarded every single day. Energies, situations, events coming at us from every angle, whether it's what you deal with in your own personal life or what we're all witnessing on the global stage. There's only so much we can input. And then there just starts to be this energetic sludge, right, that just builds up. It's like we need to take out the trash, so to speak, the trash that just builds up in our minds. And that is what meditation, just sitting in peace and silence, is for, to take all of that noise and stick it in the trash. And again, with this moon coming out at the solar plexus, it's definitely one of these times where we're just starting to see so many different truths. Going back to this message about what I said in regards to, seeing people for who they really are, this is big right now. People can't hide the true nature of their spirit anymore. Everybody can see this now. It doesn't take a whole lot to really understand the essence of someone's soul. So we need to start using our better discernment to navigate our path moving forward. We're leaving a world behind where a lot was hidden. It's like everything is all being exposed to us because of that layer that has been pulled back. And this all, again, represents how this moon is being positioned underneath this solar plexus chakra. I just heard, if it doesn't feed your soul, you must let it go, okay? There's no more making up excuses for people or situations or events. The universe has given you everything you need to be able to navigate yourself on your path, but you have to listen. How do you feel when you're around certain energies? You need to honor that, because when you honor that, it allows you to align yourself with your true north, which is just another way of speaking about your path, your mission, your purpose, as a means to fulfill your destiny. All these things are very connected, if not essentially the same. Everybody just wants to know why they're here and what they can do to align with that. But the way you are able to find out what that really is to keep sacrificing all of the things that do not serve you. The people, the places, the things, right? This isn't easy. You recognize it as being easy once you've done it. You're like, why didn't I do that sooner? But in the moment, no, it's not easy. But once you have sacrificed everything that is holding you back, your purpose, your mission, your path is unlocked to you. It just appears, whether you get downloads or ideas, or all of a sudden the universe has positioned you somewhere and you're like, oh my God, I know what it is now. That's how this works. See, it's not hiding from you. It's not like the universe is playing hide and go seek with your purpose. We are incarnated into these life cycles, and we just pick up so much baggage on our path that doesn't serve our highest good, right? All that noise, that it makes it very difficult for us to unlock our purposes, so to speak, because all of those things that we've picked up on our path that aren't in alignment with our highest good are essentially keeping us in a different kind of energy. You can say this is keeping your vibration low. So that's why your purpose or whatever it is isn't appearing to you. I very much heard of people removing one person from their life, right? And boom, everything just gets moving. It's going to be different for everybody. And, quite often I hear people talking and they're like, I've looked for it forever and I just can't find it. The universe hates me. And that's not it at all. There's just certain things that you are unwilling to release from your life. But we can see now how difficult it can be for some people to truly accept this, that, a lot of the things that are blocking us unlocking these things in our life are essentially right underneath our nose. For some people, it could be addictions. That's certainly no easy thing to overcome, depending on what it is. But I'm somebody who truly believes that the greatest obstacles you also face in your life are directly connected to your purpose. And now, when you think about it in terms of what I've just said here, it all makes sense, right? It's like you have all these obstacles you need to overcome. You finally overcome them. It unlocks your purpose. Now you have this wisdom you've gained, right? Because you've overcome those obstacles. And you can see how it works hand in hand with your purpose, because now you're the keeper of a very valuable piece of wisdom. A very basic example of this is somebody who overcomes addiction, and maybe they go on to write a book that helps other people. There's countless, millions of different ways this can show up for all of you. You just need to get creative. Okay, and be ruthless when it comes to releasing things from your life. Don't give excuses to anybody or anything. We get one go at this. And this is something that I had a big awakening around, several years ago. I just kept hearing, you get one go at this. Don't you want to be the absolute best version of yourself you can possibly be? Because at that point in time, I certainly wasn't the best version of myself, and I knew it. I felt it, but it just seemed like it was an impossible feat to be able to become the best version of myself. But it really wasn't that difficult at all. It's not to say I'm the best version of myself right now. I'm certainly still a work in progress, but I'm self-aware. I know when I need to release things from my life because they're holding me back. But if you can just really begin to frame your life with a desire to want to be the absolute best version of yourself possible, and then pay attention to how the universe responds to you, you'll be surprised at what you can accomplish in a very short period of time. Your life will look completely different 6 months to a year after making that decision. You just want to keep setting higher and higher benchmarks for yourself. That's really the key, right? Being the best version of yourself, let's just say, is the highest benchmark you can set, right? Well, even if you make it halfway there, that's probably still a really good place to arrive at, even a quarter of the way there. And I have the Hangman right on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so Pisces energy, and this card basically defines everything I just said, because it's all about perspective. See how you're looking at things while he's hanging upside down. He's like, I never thought about it like that. I can see things from this different perspective now. It's also an energy of letting go. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. 5 of Cups, Scorpio energy at the heart of the reading. See, there's this overwhelming energy here that is trying to pull you back into something, right? It's like an energy that wants you to live in the past. It's an energy that wants you to focus on all the losses in your life, right? As opposed to what good there is to look forward to, right? There's 2 cups still standing behind you. And then, this is the before tarot. So all the cups haven't spilled over yet, but in the after tarot and the regular tarot, it's somebody that's too focused on all of the sadness that they've accumulated on their path, all of the disappointments that they've had in their life. And this really speaks about the energy that we're facing right now. Like I said, right, there's this energy of uncertainty. These types of energies are always the last stop before the breakthrough. I always speak about in my readings how there's that dip, right? And this is what we're getting here. I feel that this big breakthrough I've been channeling on for a while now. It's like we're getting closer and closer and closer. And these readings are to help keep you guys motivated, right? So you don't feel alone. That's a big thing as well. When you feel like you're alone and you're having to navigate these energies, it can make it harder, So knowing that there's a whole collective of thousands of other people out there going through a similar energy to you, it can make it much easier to deal with, right? When you know that you're part of a collective of people, a wave of people, a wave of energy that is getting ready to push through to the other side, it can give you that needed burst of energy or that adrenaline rush, right? Like you're a part of something much bigger. I think it could be important to also think about how that means that you make a difference, right? So imagine if a whole bunch of you sat it out. It could be the difference between us having a breakthrough or not, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, now you see how you getting up and fighting through this energy is absolutely necessary for us to have the breakthrough. There's a lot of hope that's going to start flooding back into your life once we get to the other side of this energy. I'm hearing again, I think I spoke about this at the beginning of the reading, about some of you quite possibly moving. That's big inside the collective energy right now. It's like that move or that decision, whatever it may be for you, is the final move that you need to make in order to unlock the door to this new timeline. And then I have the Eight of Cups, Pisces energy on the bottom of the deck. So the Eight of Cups is all about moving on, okay? It's an energy of withdrawing yourself from the situations that you're in right now that are no longer, I just heard, I think I said this earlier, nourishing your soul, feeding your soul in alignment with your highest good. For some of you, Eight of Cups can be an energy of burning bridges, but it's like, for some of you, that's necessary to be able to step onto this new timeline. Maybe that's something that you haven't wanted to do. It's like you're more worried about how it's going to affect other people than you are yourself, right? So essentially putting other people's needs before your own. This only leads to bitterness, okay? And if that's something that you are being faced with, you need to think about the individuals you might be dealing with, because who would make you feel that way, right? Who would put you in a position to make you feel guilty for going towards your own happiness, okay? Sometimes it can be very difficult to recognize those kinds of things, especially when you're surrounded by these people or these energies, these situations, right? It's, the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees, right? When you're so consumed by a situation, you can't get that higher perspective view over something. It's usually when you leave it behind, you look back and you're like, I can't believe I dealt with that person or that situation. They knew exactly what they were doing, right? They were holding me back. What do we have at the throat, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the throat? Too many cards. What do we get there? The Fool, right? New beginning. There it is. And then the other card that fell out was a Knight of Swords. So lifestyle changes, right? It's also an energy that's very incisive. What do we have at the... Okay, too many cards. King of Wands, right? Two of Wands. Look, there you are, right? Looking at things from a higher perspective. It's an energy of planning. King of Wands, right? Really taking the bull by the horns here. What do we have at the throat, please? Knight of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the throat. Again, this is not comfortable. It never is, right? It's Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles can be an energy that's not very happy about having to make changes. It's very slow moving. It's an energy that's speaking about being very comfortable in an energy that's not in alignment with your highest good. It also speaks about some sort of self-serving energy that I feel a lot of you may be stuck with, right? There's this very kind of stubborn and resistant to any sort of compromise. I feel that this is really speaking about some of you out there that are just waiting for things to change or waiting for things to get better when it's not going to, right? It's just this kind of worn out narrative that has just been repeating year after year. Right, very much. That's what a karmic cycle is. It's just a repeating pattern over and over again, depending on, how bad it really is. Karmic cycles are like chapters in our life that keep repeating unless we learn the lessons and move on from them and allow ourselves to be made available so the universe can guide us into a new chapter. This is never easy. It's very difficult. I spoke about, again, it was either the Leo or Libra reading, how removing yourself from these situations is very similar to that carnival ride, right? It's like that spinning wheel where you're laying against a wall and the centripetal force of the ride is keeping you in place. It's like you can't stand up and move. That's like the best way I can explain trying to remove yourself from a karmic cycle. And that centripetal force really speaks about all of the things that have kept you there, right? And you getting off that ride and going and getting on another spinning wheel is like you stepping into the new chapter. It's not easy, it's not comfortable, it's very difficult, but that's the best way that I can try and explain to all of you how this works. It's energy, and when you are trying to level up in your life, that's how you kind of need to look at it. So in saying that, it's like you need to push through, right, for that moment that it's uncomfortable, and it's not something that I feel will be long-lasting here. I feel that once you pull the plug, it's like, that's it. You're gone, right? Now, this can really speak about this change just being the result of a decision that a lot of you need to make. I mean, usually it's always going to be that way. You make the decision to not put up with something anymore. You make the decision to make some sort of move, whatever it may be. But there just seems to be an energy here that is doing whatever it can to make sure that you don't pull the plug on it, whatever it is. You know, interesting. Okay, I just got this message regarding what a lot of you may be dealing with. It's like the universe is draining the swamp in your life, and you're seeing what's always been at the bottom of the swamp, right? Which goes back to what we spoke about at the beginning of the reading regarding seeing people, situations, things, events for what they really are, right? It also speaks about another layer being peeled back. And I have the chariot on the bottom of the deck, right? So here you are. It's like you're getting in the chariot. This is the before tarot. So the chariot hasn't taken off yet, but it's like you've made the decision. And the chariot's all connected to movement, travel. Okay, let's switch decks. Eight of Cups again. So we just saw this from the other deck, right on the bottom. I think before the Knight of Pentacles came out. But this is you finally moving on. What do we have at the third eye? Too many cards. What do we get there? Strength and the Four of Cups, okay? So it's you finally realizing that I just heard love don't live here no more, right? And then strength. It's like you get the courage to make the change. What do we have at the third eye, please? Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the third eye. And this really speaks about that kind of stuck energy, right? Being comfortable inside an energy that's not in alignment with your highest good. But it's not really, I mean, comfortable is kind of a weird word to use in relation to what I'm picking up here, because it's like you don't feel happy, you don't feel fulfilled. But there's also this kind of fear, like, will I be more fulfilled if I make this move? See, this really speaks about an energy that's been stagnant for so long that it's hard to take that first step, right? It's like not going to the gym for a long time and then trying to get back in the routine. It's very difficult to do that. But then once you do it, you can't believe you stopped, right? Very similar. But no matter how you slice this, it's going to come down to you needing to take some sort of risk here, okay? Well, that's the way you perceive it. The universe doesn't perceive it that way, right? You just realize that in order to break yourself out of this cycle, you need to take a risk. But the universe is looking at things from a higher perspective, saying to you, there's no risk involved here. It just feels that way to you because you have fear that's surrounding this change. You know, maybe this change requires you to let go of some things that aren't in alignment with your highest good. You know, that's not uncommon at all. When the universe is trying to guide you to the next level in the game, sometimes they need to strip away all that no longer serves you or isn't going to serve you where you're going, whatever that may be, whether it's material, behavioral patterns, addictions, just certain ways of doing things. It's trying to rid you of stagnant energies and give you something that's more refreshed, right? Goes back to what I said about taking out the spiritual trash, the mind trash, right? The sludge. It's like getting it all out of there. It doesn't serve you anymore. It's just creating drag, energetic drag. And this Four of Pentacles is interesting because that's essentially the death card on there too, right? The death card, which is Scorpio energy, is all about transformation. It's like death is coming through to dead certain things in your life, certain ways of doing things. And see how you're holding on to these pentacles? You're like, no, I can't give this up. And death is like, no, you must give it up. You must sacrifice this because where we're taking you, it's going to be so much better. And you're like, but I don't know. I'm scared, right? Is this, it's that kind of energy. Death's not literal by any means here. It's just really speaking about the transformation that is trying to unfold in your life. It's all about big changes. It's a energy that's wanting you to move on. It's an energy that's speaking about you shedding the layers, right? Transitioning on to something much better. It's like letting go of all which doesn't serve your highest good and moving forward on a new path. What do we have at the crown, please? Nine of Wands, Sag energy at the crown. And this Nine of Wands is funny to me because it's like here you are, right? You're kind of beat up from the previous cycle. You got a bandage on your head. And whenever I get this card, I feel like that's a representative of the divine. It could be a spirit guide, but overall it's just representing the universe, right? Coming to help transition you to this new timeline. And you're looking, over at this guy here, and you're kind of uncertain. You're like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. And he's like, just hold on a minute. I'm taking you to the new timeline, right? And he's been fighting for you. It looks like he's got a little blood on his shirt there. But the Nine of Wands is an energy of you needing to create a boundary, right? Distance between you and some sort of energy. And this has to do with this cycle that you're moving on from, right? It's an energy of you really persisting forward. It's a very determined, resilient kind of energy. So it's like you've let go of everything here that's not serving your highest good, right? You sacrificed it. And now the universe comes through to usher you, so to speak, or escort you, rather, to this new timeline. And there's also a message here about feeling unprepared, okay? When it comes to these kinds of changes that you need to make in your life, you're never going to be completely prepared, right? A lot of the times that can just be an excuse. It can be a way to delay things even further. But in your heart of hearts when it's time to go. That's the universe speaking to you, right? Now, obviously, do as much as you can, but there's only so much planning you can make in situations like this. Sometimes you just got to go. Because when you really break it down, and I'm thinking about this Four of Pentacles again, a lot of the things, if not all of the things that are holding us back are material. So do what you can there. But remember, it's never going to be perfect. You just got to take the leap. What do we have at the foundation, please? Queen of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the foundation. Just followed what I said here, okay? Because this Queen of Pentacles speaks about a kind of imbalance. It's speaking about there being an imbalance with your actual happiness and money, right? It can be an energy that's very self-centered, right? Which is being highlighted right underneath that devil, right? Devil is all about bondage and the material world, right? Materialism, it's an energy that's very greedy, right? So this really speaks about all of these factors in our lives that have just built up, that hold us back from making decisions that are for our soul's growth. And again, I get it. It's not easy, but that's life, right? What's more important to you? The things you can't take with you when you get to the end of this life cycle, right? The materials, or the thing you can take with you when you get to the end of this life cycle, your soul, right? Remember, you are down here living a human existence. You are a soul that is here to collect experience and wisdom for your soul's journey. We are a soul living inside a human vessel that by default says we need to be trapped inside a material world. But if you can manage to navigate somewhere right in between, right? Kind of like in the Matrix, how they go between worlds, then you cannot be stopped. Okay? Because this is really how we need to navigate this life. Yes, we live in a material world. Yes, we need materials to survive. It's just a fact of life. But we do not need to allow it to make us feel imprisoned or trapped. Remember who you are. Remember what you are. And this is also reinforcing what I said about taking out that spiritual trash, right? Because it's these sort of steps that you can take to constantly remind yourself, right? To check back in with yourself. What do we have at the sacral, please? Queen of Wands, Paimon at the sacral. Right underneath that Seven of Wands, there's this very kind of demanding, selfish kind of energy I'm picking up on here. This could be representing somebody that a lot of you are dealing with. It's very aggressive kind of energy. You know, I feel that this Queen of Wands, for a lot of you, is representing what you're trying to break away from, right? It's not easy. And again, this can speak about what I mentioned in regards to you sacrificing your own happiness to appease another, right? This can speak about the kind of person that would allow you to do that. What do we have, the solar plexus? King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. Elagos. You know, this is the kind of energy here that will lay a guilt trip on you, okay? It's the kind of energy that will make you feel like you owe them something. Very manipulative, very overbearing, very tyrannical as well. I'm also hearing some messages around that gaslighting, right? It's like messing with your mentals, King of Swords energy. It's like this is what's being exposed to you now. You're starting to see this. You know, this is very much an energy of you preparing to make some sort of massive change in your life, and you really start to see how people react to that. It's like people that you thought always supported you all of a sudden react to some sort of decision you make in a what's very kind of weird, right? You know, this could really suggest that maybe they thought you would never make this decision. Maybe they thought that you would just always talk about wanting to do something but never actually do it. You know, that can really speak about how difficult it is for a lot of you to make this decision, right? I'm thinking again about that carnival ride, you know, where you're spinning around and the centripetal force is keeping you in place, right? It's like that centripetal force is representing this energy here. You know, leaving a situation like this, however this is showing up for all of you, feels like stepping into a new reality. But what that really is your vibration raising and you now experiencing life in a much different way. This can also be compared to timeline jumping. You know, timeline jumping is just the process of aligning with a more ideal version of yourself, right? Which is what I was speaking about in this reading, right? Becoming the best version of yourself. There's steps to it. But this right here feels like that. It's like it shifts your reality. It's paradigm shifting is what it is. You no longer perceive life the same way anymore. What do we have at the heart, please? What do we got here? Page of Cups, Stolos, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy, protection of criminals. So I feel like this is further reiterating what we said about you starting to see people for who they really are. You know, this can really speak about people that I think I mentioned, maybe you put these people up on a pedestal at one point in time and you look back after you've moved on and you're like, God, what was I seeing in that person? They're just a real nincompoop. You know, this Page of Cups here, this can be an energy that's very immature, right? This is also somebody who doesn't navigate their life with their intuition. It's an energy that's very much stuck inside the matrix of life. You know, by all accounts here, this person or these people or whatever this is here, they're vibrating at a much lower vibration than you. And this is something that you become aware of once you move on from them, right? Again, this can all be likened to timeline jumping. But for a lot of you as well, it's like once you move on, they're not even in the same reality as you anymore. Maybe you just don't see these people anymore. It's like they're in a different world. That's what this feels like here. But it says right there, protection of criminals. So it's like you staying there, you enabling this sort of behavior, you putting yourself through the rounds with these people and staying because you don't want to rock the boat or upset them or something like this, is you essentially protecting them, right? And as you move on, you start to look back and you realize that they were a kind of enemy, right? Like a criminal in your life, so to speak. They never had your highest good in mind. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. Perfect. Menadel, Virgo energy, inner and outer work. So now we're leaving this resistance behind. See, this is all resistance. This is all energies that are working in the shadows to hold you back. Or, these could be the people you're dealing with. But overall, it's energy that's trying to keep you from evolving, so to speak, right? Now, as you shift onto this new timeline, you're aligning with the divine's will for your life. Ten of Pentacles is an energy of legacy. It's all related to your spiritual inheritance as well, is what I'm hearing here. There's just something here about this entire situation aligning you now. It's like you found your way back to your path. Like I was mentioning at the beginning of the reading, life happens. All of these things unfold on our path that just get us to wander in different directions. But it's like now you have realigned, you've recalibrated. And it's also right underneath that Five of Cups, which speaks about this energy of finally moving on, right? No longer staying in this karmic cycle where it's like you're just living in the past all the time. It's like being around people whose best days were somewhere in the past. They're living in the past. They're always talking about the past. And look, this is fine in some cases. I'm not knocking this, but what I'm picking up here are individuals who are not motivated to have their best days yet, aren't motivated to become the best version of themselves. These are the people that maybe you grew up with or you went to high school with, and they're always talking about when they were 17, right? It's like they peaked at 17. Stay away from people like this. Just because you've known people your entire life doesn't mean that they're meant to stay with you on your path, okay? Because where the universe is trying to take you, they're simply not equipped to go there with you, okay? They have to go through the exact same process you did to be able to access this new timeline that you are preparing to step onto. Don't hold yourself back for others. You have no one to blame but yourself if you do. What do we have at the throat, please? Three of Wands, Aries energy at the throat. Satael, the god of hope, construction of the universe, help with great works, protection from adversaries, right? So it's like you're constructing this new timeline, this new reality, this new universe, right? Like I was saying, your perception of life and everything is just completely shifted, and that's really what this card is representing here. It's like you've completely surrendered. You're allowing the divine to guide you. Three of Wands, this is the energy of the visionary. It's somebody who's preparing for some kind of expansion in their life. Yeah, you don't know every detail. You don't know what everything is going to look like, which is why a lot of this fear exists to begin with. But this is how you get the big breakthroughs, okay? You just have to have faith and trust that the universe has got your back. It is the necessary component that you must put in place, faith, in order to unlock this destiny kind of energy. This is how you do it. And I have the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so divine guidance. What do we have at the third eye, please? Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the third eye. Ha-Emia, God, the hope of all the earth. Ritual and ceremony can acquire all the treasures of heaven and earth. So the Queen of Swords is an energy that's very honest. It's as if you are now finally ready to be honest with yourself and move forward, okay? And, being honest with yourself about the fact that you have been essentially holding yourself back for quite possibly the happiness of others, right? But at the end of the day, it was really just an excuse because there was some fear associated with pushing forward onto this new path. So all of these things are kind of working in tandem to hold you back, right? But now you break through to the other side and you're looking back, right? At everything you've overcome, how far you've come. And this Queen of Swords, by all accounts, this is you as one of the best versions of yourself. And I say one of them because, like I said, there's levels to this, right? But it's like you hit a benchmark. Again, this could be 6 months to a year down the line. And you look back and you're like, I've grown so much. I'm a way better version of myself than I was a year ago. I feel much more aligned. I feel happier. I feel stronger. I feel seen by the universe. I feel like there's meaning behind my life. And this is exactly what this is representing here. It's right underneath that Four of Pentacles, right? Here you are, you're like, but I can't let go of this. I need to hold on to this. And here comes death. We're like, nope, this is what you have to sacrifice. And then this is the result. And this is also at the third eye, right? So this Four of Pentacles here speaks about the material world, being trapped inside it. This is what you're leaving behind. This is how you once perceived your life. And now you're perceiving your life like you're this kind of superhero, right? Like you're this completely transformed version of yourself. This is like you 2.0. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy at the crown to close out the reading. God nurturing and maintaining everything. Knowledge of good and evil, appeases divine anger, cures epilepsy. So the Seven of Swords is speaking about you finally being honest with yourself, putting more emphasis on this Queen of Swords, about what it is you may have been dealing with. You're ready to accept it. You recognize the betrayal. You recognize the deception. You recognize that there was some sort of underhanded energy that you were engaged with up until this point. But you're finally ready to break free of this. And it's also speaking about how these energies can no longer hide from you, right? It's been exposed, which is going right back to the beginning of the reading, which goes back to what I just said about you being the only one to blame if you don't put one foot in front of the other and make this change, because the truth has now been exposed to you. So it's time to get moving, whatever this represents in your life. And don't forget, we're all in this together. You're not alone. There's countless other people in the collective right now that are trying to navigate the exact same energy as you. Although the situations, the events, and the way they've constructed their reality around that energy may be different, we are all a part of a massive shift that is underway. So I certainly hope that this reading can help you navigate some of these energetic storms that you may encounter on your path at present. This is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations. Take care.